It's the last episode. You're all gonna die.
Dun, dun, dun,
We've
dun.
already died once. It's not really a threat.
Yeah.
Well, actually, to be fair, you probably died hundreds of times in that loop.
Actually, now it is a threat again. Yeah.
Yeah.
Cross the hub.
Yeah. Went right back to it being a threat.
I'm probably the least threatening person in the world, if I'm being completely honest.
In the
As
world?
a GM.
Maybe not the world, but maybe not the world. You're right. That's a big claim. But
I don't know, Justin. I've been pretty threatened by you in multiple
Really?
of the games that we've
Really?
played.
Yeah, but that's like GM Justin. You know what I mean?
Yeah, he's scary.
He told me I was on thin ice on the
He
first
stole my
episode.
face.
And I'm drowning in the Atlantic Ocean? Hello?
I resent that. I think I am incredibly sweet and loving and just a teddy bear. So for saying
You
that,
are.
I'm gonna kill
are all
Big
of
Mama
those things.
tonight.
Okay, see,
That's fine. Yeah.
it's just
Oh man,
The least threatening person on the planet. You're dead meat for saying otherwise.
you're dead for saying I would kill you. I'll murder you. Oh man,
Game's over.
Speaking of intimidation, I was going to mention this because it's kind of like taking the world by storm right now. I've been doing almost nothing since it came out, but playing Baldur's Gate 3. Has anyone else just
I
had their
know I'm
entire
gonna
life
do
consumed?
that. So I have not purchased it because I'm trying to finish another
Same
game.
here.
That's
I'm
fair.
like,
Yeah.
I need to finish this first at least, and then I can never do anything else.
I have a big miniature painting project that I know will not get finished
Won't.
if I buy Baldur's Gate 3.
It won't.
I'm pulling up my Steam library so I can tell you how many hours I have in this.
Oh, I want to
Just to
hear
be
this.
totally honest.
I want to
I
hear it.
have 104 hours in Baldur's Gate 3 since it came out.
Solid. Very
That's
solid.
that is
awesome.
impressive.
Maybe romanced.
What act are you in? I don't want to know like what part of the story, but like, do you know what act you're in?
Here's the issue is that so I have my personal save file that I didn't
Okay.
like anymore.
Yeah,
So I got
yeah,
into
yeah.
Act 3 in that one, scrapped it, started the new one, Act 2. But I also
Okay.
have one when I'm playing on stream and I'm
Oh, sure,
talking to people
sure.
so that they can keep track of the story by themselves. Then I
Yeah,
have
yeah.
another save file with a couple of other content creators who also needed this. So there's like 7 different files I'm a part of right now. So complicated
Okay, so
answer.
it's not
a
one
multiverse.
playthrough. I gotcha.
No.
I gotcha.
Yeah, this is convoluted nerd shit.
Yeah, it always is.
It always is, but we're thinking about, once Nick and Danny get it, we're thinking about doing a stream on our Twitch, playing with, which I think would be a lot of fun. And it sounds like we've got a bunch of people that play, so we can find some people to do that. I think that'd be a lot of fun to do an FBP run of Baldur's Gate 3.
If anybody wants
Competition
That would
to
be
buy,
fun.
if anybody
What?
wants to buy it for me, I wouldn't be mad.
It's pretty incredible. It's a pretty
Your
incredible
birthday's
game.
Monday, right, Johnny?
It is,
Oh,
yeah.
yeah. Okay. Good to know. Good to know.
Keep that in mind.
It's a great game. Highly recommend it. I'm bringing it up too because I can't. There's like a part of me that just cannot play an evil, like intimidating character. It doesn't matter. Even if I go into that proficiency, have high charisma, I just can't. I can't choose those dialogue options. There's
They're
just
just so
something
mean.
stopping me.
I get it.
Yeah, they're so mean. There's a character that everyone has been complaining about. So like you can romance all the companions, right? And everyone has been being like, I wasn't intending to romance this companion. He's just like coming on to me though. Like he thinks I'm flirting with him, and even when I tell him I'm not, he continues to come for me. And the issue is that some dialogue options that you could choose, and he's like talking about his pet cat, and like the quote unquote flirting option is like, oh, what a cute cat, and like the other option is like, I don't want to ever fucking hear about your cat ever again. And people are like, why would any sane person choose that option? So if that's what counts as flirting for this character, well, of course he's gonna think I'm flirting with him. Because a nice person's just gonna be like, "Oh yeah, that's a cool cat. Cool, man." They're not gonna be like, "I will kill your cat in front of you and make you watch."
It's a
Maybe
very
we
different
should.
kind of dynamic.
More direct,
It is.
perhaps.
That's a different type of flirting. That is a different type of flirting for sure. That's if you're into that, you can do any of the other companions, Nick. I feel like any of the other companions would really appreciate that sort of direct sexual aggression.
Well, I don't recommend normalizing sexual aggression. I do think we should normalize directness in human
Yeah, sure.
interaction.
Sure, yes. Like I will kill your cat if you talk about it one more time.
Yeah, if that's what you're going to do, say it.
Are you
direct.
talking to me now? It feels direct.
Hey,
I don't want
I've made
him
it
to be
very
on
clear
stream.
that
He's very
I am
loud.
a nice person. I do not threaten people.
It's cats.
But
People's cats.
it's Nick's cat. Yeah, I'm talking about Nick's cat.
Jeez. I know it.
No, Nox is sweet. I actually really liked Nox. I only met him the one time. But he's a cool cat.
He's very personal, but he's just so damn loud. He's constantly screaming about something.
Same girl.
What are we doing?
Well, speaking of screaming things, I think some
yeah.
mushroom people screamed and started charging at the four of you. You are in the middle of an abandoned SAS training ground after having been shunted into the past to find out that the Hagley Wood has started attacking people that are coming into it. Why is it doing this? How do you stop it? How do you contain it? And how do you convince the people of Buckinghamshire that it's not an issue, that there's nothing paranormal or strange going on? It's just sort of something that's happening. But you have that to deal with in just a moment, because I think you kind of have to deal with these. I don't even remember. What did I say? Six mushroom people charging at you.
Are there any particularly tall and unstable looking buildings nearby, perchance?
Let's do a fortune roll. I'm gonna just roll with the one die because it's a newer. This is newer. They created this like during the war, but there might be. Actually, yeah. In fact, there is a building that looks actually to be covered now in fungus. And a lot of it is at the root of it. You can see that it has eaten a lot of the stability and structure of the bottom of this 3-story building.
Everybody's got on their PPE, right? I want to make sure that we're not spores in ourselves before I do this. And I would like to use telekinesis to try and bring that building down on the mushroom people.
I'm love that.
To mark an additional resonance, because this is an incredibly large thing.
You only have to
I
pull out,
love
like, the
that.
supports, but
Yeah. But I still think it's large enough that there's got to be an action roll, and I'm gonna do this as well too. While you're generating that dice pool, I'm gonna make a 6-segment clock, and that'll be defeating the mushroom people. So this one action isn't gonna complete it, but you might take out a couple of them, and someone else can do some other things.
Big Mama pulls out the pistol, the handgun that he got from he found, and is gonna open fire on the
Let's resolve Clarissa's
for sure.
telekinesis first, and then we'll get to shooting some things. Are you following all Bureau directives? Sure. I can't see a world in which you're not. Is your background particularly useful with this?
I'm
as
strong
a TV
of will.
medium.
I think that should count for something.
Listen. It counts for a lot of things. It just does not count as a dice for this roll.
Got it. Interesting. I will find a better way to phrase that in the future.
All right. Do you have any relevant gear or requisitions that you think would help?
We have the PPE. which will prevent spores from getting on us when I crush them.
Yeah, but that's not for the crushing action itself.
Could we say that the roots on the building, which have made it unstable, are gear that helps us with this?
No. I'm going to say no because that was generated from a fortune roll.
Okay. Then, nope.
But you are using your paranormal power, so I think you get 2 dice.
Okay. That is a 6. So we'll take it.
Great. I didn't tell you what the position was. I think it's risky. So I'm going to go ahead and mark 2 on the defeating the mushroom people clock. And you do, Clarissa, you reach out and you kind of tug at the bottom of this building, and it starts to topple over, crushing 2 of the mushroom people completely. You see their forms wriggling underneath, trying to get free, but they're just crushed under that. The other 4 are still charging at you. Big Mama, you said you're just open firing?
Yep. Just
all right.
Putting lead down.
Let's build that dice pool. I think at this moment you're following the Bureau directives, although the noise might be a problem at some point. Although I guess you could just drop a building. That's pretty noisy. But we'll say that you're doing it for now. I don't know if your background, unless you can convince me, is particularly relevant to.
I'm sure he's fired guns before, but
sure,
not like in any sort of tense situation.
Okay, all right. You have the gear, so I'll give you that. And do you are you going to use a psychic paranormal power?
Not sure how it would fit. So no.
Cool. So 2 dice. I think it's a risky position. And let's see what we roll.
6.
Wow. Okay.
And a 2.
A 6 and a 2. So you start firing, and you take out a couple of them. There's still 2 that are charging now at the 4 of you. I would love to know what a Drake does. Let's look at Drake. I think he seems the most nervous and nerdy, so I think it'll be funny to see like what he does in this situation.
So I was actually just looking up some specific things. So I think maybe Drake is like recalling a book that he read on things that have like natural immunity and maybe even predation as it relates to fungi. And cycling through that, he kind of in a half panic just turns himself into a like way too big grizzly bear.
I love it. Let's build that action roll. What is your intent, by the way, to have them stop in their tracks, to be big enough to like combat them and attack them?
The first would be ideal, and the second is kind of my secondary goal.
Your backup. Okay. Well, let's just see if they're fearful of this first. Are you following Bureau directives? Yeah, I think you are. Is your background particularly useful in this?
I would argue yes, because I'm saying like he knows to turn into a bear specifically because he's recalling that bears and boars have specific immunities as well as aggression towards fungi.
Okay. I accept your answer. You may take that extra dice. And then any other gear you think is particularly helpful in turning into a bear?
No.
Okay, good. I'm glad you didn't try and argue for something.
You didn't have a bear claw around your neck?
my bear claw amulet? That you don't think that's helpful?
Go ahead and mark that resonance to also get that extra dice for using a paranormal power, and roll that 3 dice and tell me what you get.
Double 6s.
Ooh, okay. Wow. What do you think the extra benefit will be?
Oh man.
the bear gets really high from the mushrooms.
No, I think maybe at least one of the mushrooms isn't just afraid and stops, but actually flees.
Okay. I might give you something else because with that critical success, you're gonna mark the 2 on the clock, which is gonna complete that clock.
Okay.
And so there's got to be some other additional success and benefit that you get from that. So let's figure out what that is. Another clue, perhaps. I will give you the clue. How about that? I know that you've got a clue coming, and I want to have it make a little bit more narrative sense. The one I am looking at here. But for the moment, everything is solved. The mushroom people have been defeated, and you can continue downstairs if you want to, into the building and downstairs.
Okay. For the record, I am staying in bear form for the time being.
Okay. What do you do?
While I'm a bear, I'm going to take advantage of some of the natural senses of a bear and start sniffing and seeing if I can catch a scent of anything that seems important. For
sure. Let's say, are you following all relevant bureau directives? Yes. I don't know if your background's particularly helpful in this, or gear, but I think you're definitely using a paranormal power there. So go ahead and roll those 2 dice, and let's see if we can get a clue.
All right, single 6.
A single 6. Okay. You smell death coming from the building that you were about to walk into, and further down, deep below this building, there's just this overwhelming waft of decay and death.
I start growling and kind of paw at the door. I'm assuming I can't talk while I'm a bear because bears can't do that.
I'm gonna need you to what do you say? What do you do? How do you?
At the door.
Okay. You want to go in here? And up. I open the door. Okay.
Thank God y'all got that. I was getting well. Someone's in a well. I don't know.
That too. Actually, Clarissa got it. I wasn't saying that.
That was the true answer.
Got it in one. When you open this door, you can see that there are a number of there's a large computer. They were around, but they were massive at this time. And so this whole thing is a computer, and you see stairs that appear to be going down underneath this building. And Drake, that is where the smell, as soon as the doors open, that scent of death just wafts from downstairs.
Spooky.
I just start going down the stairs.
I mean, we can probably smell it at that stage, right?
Yeah, you might be able to. Yep. And I should mention too that while there is this giant computer, it's covered in fungus.
Are there lights on and stuff in here?
They are flickering.
Okay.
But yes, they are on.
Cool. And bears have dark vision up to 30 feet, right? Is that?
Yes, actually. Yes. I'm assuming you all go downstairs cautiously and carefully.
Yes.
Yeah. This
dark
computer's
vision.
like the one I grew up using, so I feel very comfortable right here.
How old is Clarissa? I'm so confused.
It's not clear.
You ask a great question.
Eternal.
When you get downstairs, there's just like an observation room that you walk into, and there's glass, and then behind that you can see another room that is covered in fungus, and in the middle of this room there is a body that has mushrooms sprouting out of it. You can see it looks as though that's where all the mushrooms are growing from, being spored out of. There's this body that is just in the middle of this room, this sealed off room. And I am going to give you a clue. I'll be explicit about it, even though you might not know some of these things in characters, you as players. The clue is an unsolved murder with a suspect at large.
Can I take out my Ouija board? It doesn't have to do anything. I just think it'd be really funny to put it down in front of this body.
It is. So there is a door into this room, but you're kind of like standing on the other side looking at it from the glass. Do you want to go into that room?
I'm wearing my protective gear, so yeah, why not? What's the worst that happens?
Okay.
I die again.
Oh, don't say what's the worst that could happen, because
Famous last words.
I can think of terrible things to happen. You walk in and you put the Ouija board. You also, might I remind you, don't you have the ability to speak with? Was this a paranormal
You're a
ability?
medium. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, my paranormal ability is telekinesis. There's not actually any commune with the dead stuff that she's got going on.
Not actually real.
Let's do this because I think it's fun. I think it makes sense. You've got the Ouija board. Telekinesis, I can totally see as being something that we can stretch a little bit to speak to somebody who's dead. Wait, I was thinking of telepathy. Telepathy is what I was thinking of.
Yeah. You can move the dead around.
Like a weekend at Bernie's.
Yeah.
I'm not dead.
Should I clarify
This could be the most
that
effective weekend at Bernie's.
Clarissa was just moving things in rooms to make it appear things were haunted? She was a total this was a TV only experience.
Much like the Long Island Medium.
Yes.
Do you want to put on a show then for your other agents?
Yes, because if I mark one more resonance, I complete my power path and get a new ability. So this true return to form for Clarissa and putting on one last show. She's gonna, with her mind, bring the Ouija board into the middle of the room and place I believe it's called a plaquette. I could be very wrong about that though.
Planchette.
On the Ouija, yeah, that word. Place it on the Ouija board.
Yes, plantain.
Whatever those little nuts are you serve at parties, those things.
Planters.
Yes. So she's gonna place the Ouija board in the room with that, and as she places it down, fungi and things around them are going to raise up as if she's somehow talking to something. Mind you, the Ouija board is not moving. There is no spiritual activity on the actual communication device.
Yeah. I love this. Yeah, I'm not even going to make you roll. If you want to mark a resonance to do this, sure.
Yep, we did it. And now we're choosing a new power.
New paranormal power. Yeah, what are you picking?
We're picking photokinesis. So I can manipulate light sources, change its brightness, create distracting patterns, or project simple visual illusions.
I love that.
Which will only make our traveling medium shtick even stronger.
Even stronger.
When you bring back TLC, it'll be even better for you.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, we have
assuming that we don't transcend space and time before that by doing too many small tricks.
We have that clock. Wonderful. You all watch this as Clarissa does this, and then nothing happens.
And all of us are well aware of her telekinesis. So I feel like we're all kind of just she's just doing that, right?
Yeah. Yeah, she goes. Yeah, you're still a bear though, so you go. And I'm like, yeah.
Guys, This ghost is being very temperamental. I'm gonna need a few extra minutes to figure this one out.
Yeah, you take those.
She sits on the floor. She crosses her legs. She covers her eyes. She's in deep meditation.
We're gonna mess with that computer upstairs. Just leave.
All right. You're going upstairs to look at the computer. You're perfectly capable of that. You're a hacker, so I think this is a great thing for you to do. I'm assuming you're trying to find some clue, pick up some information on what's been happening here. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll check how many you've. Would this be a vacuum tube machine?
I don't know.
It would have to be. Yeah.
I don't care.
I'll check how much. Like you said, it had mushrooms growing on it, but that actually shouldn't affect a computer that much.
Sure.
So I like look around, make sure it's somewhat intact, and then I'll just like take out a power source of my own, which will probably be more than enough to power this ancient machine.
Yep.
Turn it on and see what I can get out of it.
Let's take a roll. Are you following up your directives? Yes. Your background, absolutely. Gear, sure. Are you using the paranormal power? I don't know if you can. Or... Yeah. So 3 dice. Let me know what you get. Can't connect to technology yet. Maybe one day.
6.
A 6. Okay. In that case, you find a number of files about that the SAS was, and the British government in general were investigating and looking into what are called sentient plant ritual behaviors, trying to create like essentially super soldiers by using these sentient plants. And you find this detailed account of some British intelligence finding a creature that lived in the Hagley Woods. She, by all intents and purposes, looked like a person, and they took her back and started studying her. And in order to do that, they had to kill her.
Oh. So they okay. Oh, I know what happened. I turned off everything. Oh.
Yeah. No, I was just gonna say it feels like we might be getting close to a theorized roll.
I think we are. I was gonna go collect everybody and so yeah, I come back downstairs. I'm assuming Clarissa's still trying to contact the dead, I guess. I don't know.
Don't worry, the moment you come downstairs and she hears footsteps, she springs up and says, "Guys, figured it out. Someone had really bad tea in here, and it's caused the whole mushroom mess to turn against everybody."
That's no. Here, let's go outside and to have this conversation. I think I learned some stuff from their computer logs. I think I've put it together. So if everybody wants to come on outside.
Okay, I will follow.
You get outside. I'll go over the clues again, and then I will let you all theorize. The clues that you have found so far, you have heard of local folklore, the Witch of the Hagley Woods. You have met the Hagley Wood itself as well. You have discovered that there is local fungus that is causing a fast necrosis. You have found this SSA training grounds encroaching on the woods itself. There was the murder of the body in the center of that room. That also has some connection to sentient plant behavior as well. And so it is at this time that I will remind you, you need to answer, what is the phenomenon? How are you going to contain the phenomenon? And how are you going to obfuscate this from the people of Buckinghamshire, as well as the English government at large?
I've got the what. I don't have anything past that. So I'm pretty sure, this is a secret military base. Well, maybe not secret, but it was a military base. They found out about the occult things going on here. I think there were two beings that lived in this forest. There is the forest spirit itself, and I think its mate or partner or whatever you want to call it was like some sort of fungal spirit because of the cycle of life and death. Forest needs these things. I think they killed the fungal spirit to capture it and study it. Upon killing it, they were essentially cursed. Its corpse became a ground zero for this fungus that killed everyone here and also took over their corpses and is slowly infecting the forest. The forest is defending itself as best it can against the spreading curse of its dead mate, but also is pissed at the humans for killing its mate. And that pretty much explains everything.
Mhm.
I would agree with that.
I have no idea how to fix most. I mean, I have got this little portal thing. There's a lot going on here. So, handing it over to the rest of the team here.
So if thank you.
Just remains bare.
Actually, no, thank you. That's really messed up. You would say that. That mushroom man did not deserve that. No, what? I've heard you out. I agree now.
I didn't catch
So
a word of okay.
if we're really thinking about how to solve this for the people, I think we should make up more folklore. I think if they already believe in the witch is real, if they are seeing the people in the trees, why stop them from believing that? Maybe all we have to say is that the war is causing the spirits in the forest to be sad and angry, so it was rebelling against people. They'll say, yeah, that's how forests work.
Yeah.
At this point, I finally revert back to my human form. Part of the directive is to hide the paranormal from the people. So I don't think that feeding into the folklore without somehow making it clear that it is just folklore fulfills the directive.
I guess. But, if you really think about it, and this is where I use my administrative bullshit power. If you really think about it, would you tell people who believe in, the flying spaghetti monster, they're being ridiculous? No, you wouldn't. You would say, yeah, you go wear that colander in your ID photo. That's your right as an American. And I think their right as British people is to believe their folklore. And if the big boss says that's not right, I will take on the extra paperwork for that. Because I'm not going to be the reason that they can't have their freedom of religion, even if it is just fairy tales.
They aren't guaranteed that.
Let
right
me be
here.
clear. The people are allowed to believe whatever they want, but we, as members of the Bureau, can't reinforce that belief.
Right. With proof, right? But we can have them fall back on their own folklore and thus not be believed by other people.
Right. Now, I see what you guys are saying, but we would also need to do probably more to cover up what's happened so that their belief isn't reinforced by evidence than it would take to simply come up with an explanation outside of what is actually happening for them to believe in instead.
What if we paper mache effigies of bodies into the trees so everyone thinks it's a hoax?
They already found
Wait, I like that. I love arts and crafts. Hold on. Where's the Joannes?
Great.
As
That's
far
the
as
direction
the
we should be
missing
thinking in.
boy,
Oh,
we can just chalk that up to casualty of war.
they found
him in a tree, though.
We can just gaslight them.
Oh,
My
you
husband
can
does
pull
it to
him
me
out
all
of the
time.
tree
We can do
again.
it to them.
Or I could pull
Well,
him
that's
out of the
horrible.
tree, but we could also
Replace him with paper mache.
not only, but that he remains dead, and the people still found him in the tree, and so there's still a gap to cover there. But I think if we do replace him with a sculpture that looks like him, but obviously he remains dead, and we need to pin that on someone. But if we convince the people that there was a mass murderer in their midst who's killing people and then putting effigies of them into the trees to pay homage to some ancient god they worshipped that doesn't exist, of course.
We can blame it on... Wait. We can blame it on Sergeant Lieutenant, who is of...
The only issue there is that we don't have him anymore. There's the people won't feel a sense of absolution if we don't have a scapegoat to give them.
Okay, this is the part where I say, is this what this power allows me to do? With photokinesis, could I create a him? Is a minor illusion, this is what it is there, could that count as that?
I can see a world in which that could. You got to tell me what you plan to do with that, because there are also plans in which that would not work, right? Like if you show them and then they all like form a mob and start chasing after this thing, they would just run through it. But there are ways in which you can get around that. So that I love that avenue. Keep playing with that.
Okay, guys, I think maybe if we bring a sack and we fill it with potatoes, and then on the town square, we can dump his dead body, which I've created with my mind. And we say, we found the murderer and we killed him. He's also making weird sculptures in the forest. You go check those out.
I think we would maybe go for a little bit more. So maybe instead we go to the forest. We show them that they are just sculptures. Then you create an illusion of a man running through the woods, right? And we all chase after him, but you just make him disappear when he's out of sight. And, we all chase after him and whatnot. And it's like, well, that was the guy. That's why this has been happening. It was just oh, what?
Well, I'm just wondering, do we know, and I'm half asking you this, Justin, was the sergeant fully human, or was he perhaps also a creature afflicted by perhaps lycanthropy or something of that nature?
Let's find out. I'm gonna roll just one dice.
Barring that, well, let's see what that roll is.
Why are you asking?
Because I can turn into a monster I have seen.
Ooh.
Would it matter what he is then? If you've seen a werewolf before?
If he's any kind of creature of the night, he is therefore a monster, right? And so then I could turn into him because I've seen him.
I just meant like even if he wasn't those things, it could still be a world in which you've seen those things. But
oh right, no, but I don't want to turn into a werewolf. I want to turn into the sergeant.
I understand. So I rolled a 5, which is a mixed result or a limited partial effect, and I'm trying to figure out what that limited effect would be in this case. I think the answer ultimately is yes. He was a werewolf.
Okay.
That was. There has to be a but. He is a werewolf.
Do you want me to present like my plan? My idea? And then maybe you can come up with the but. So here's what I'm thinking is, according to the records that I was able to find in my bag, Sergeant Lieutenant was actually a werewolf. And so I think that with my new abilities, I may be able to turn into him completely. Then we could use the credentials that you took, Big Mama, to indicate that the three of you are agents of the SAS who were tasked with finding the escaped madman who was doing these crimes. And then the three of you take me, the murderer, away.
Okay.
Cool.
And presumably, from what I understand, he was here for some time, so the people would recognize Sergeant Lieutenant. So it's not like it's just some total stranger, even.
Wow,
that
a
all makes
betrayal from their
sense.
own community.
We gotta so we gotta clean up all of the spores.
We do need to do that as well.
We can just burn all of that down. I'm sure the forest spirit would also be happy with that as well.
Hypothetically, if we start burning things and smoke up into the air, do we spread more spores everywhere?
No, the spores wouldn't be able to survive the zero oxygen environment.
Okay. Should know if it was like a diffuser, you know?
It's not oil, it's living particles. Anyways, yeah, I guess I'll get started on that. Just pulls a Molotov out.
Where did you get a Molotov?
Yeah. Well, we should start with the source, right? We don't know. Well, I wonder if you would be able to tell this, Big Mama. If the fungus is sentient, is it a hive mind? Is it connected? If we kill it at the source, will it kill it everywhere rather than needing to destroy all of the spores?
Well, my assumption was it was just sort of a curse, like a last will. So less of a like a thinking creature. But I mean, we can try it. I could just try lasering out the corpse of the spirit and see if that does anything. If it doesn't, then we can revert to plan B of burning everything.
Yeah, I'm wondering if your telepathy would allow you to determine that before we take any action.
Try to talk to it again.
You want me to? Okay.
It's up to you. You don't have to, but it sort of worked before.
Okay. Yeah, I'll give it a shot.
Nail's just sitting there with a lighter, just ready.
Just ready for it.
Just ready to burn.
I think this is a separate thing from the theorized role, even though it is technically a part of trying to contain this thing. Let's do this. Let's deal with that first. It feels like the bulk of the theorized role deals with convincing the people of Buckinghamshire that this is fake. So that's, I think, where a lot of the action is going to be. Yeah.
It's commune with the fungus.
Yeah, let's deal with that, and then we can roll the theorized roll.
Are we going back down to under the computer then?
At least Big Mama is.
When you go down there, can you tell me if anything is spelled out on the Ouija board? If it's moved from the dead center of the board?
Sure.
Thank you. I appreciate your commitment.
When you get down there, nothing has changed from the Ouija board. It's nothing has moved.
What?
Let's see. Are you following all bureau directives? Yes, you are. Do you have a background on some with this? I don't think so.
No.
Gear requisitions. I'm not really seeing either. But I'm happy if you're like, no. I do have something, Justin.
I don't.
Okay, all right.
Well, the one thing for background is like, does it count that I accidentally communed with the mushroom before, or
I read background as your specific like job pre-ECB. Do those skills help you in this moment?
No,
that's how I read background. Not like has something like this happened to me before. But you do have telepathy. So you can mark a resonance and add that to your action roll. Well, actually, hang on. Mark one resonance to communicate telepathically with one person you can see. I don't even know if you need to roll. It's only if you attempt to communicate this weight with multiple targets or someone you can't see.
But I can see the fungus is everywhere.
But you can see the fungus. So I think you just mark a resonance and you can do it.
Okay. I open my mind to the mushroom lady.
It is vast and connected and fuzzy. And your mind connects with this person, this creature. What? What are you?
Kyle. And just I was wondering if I forgot why I was here. I was like,
Take a moment. I'm
I was
not going anywhere.
Yeah. So you're kind of you're spreading your fungus everywhere. A lot of things are dying. I think your forest friend is a little upset about it, or is having trouble dealing with it. So I just kind of came to see if you could, like, if there's any way you could control that, or if there's some way for us to handle that together, or whatnot.
That was really awkward.
I'm talking to fungus. I'm not used to this experience.
I'm assuming if you're here, you know to some extent what happened.
Yeah,
there must be some revenge on those who would tear down the natural world for their destruction, their wars. What will you do about them?
Well, you killed all of them. They're dead.
There are always more like them. They do not stop.
That's not fair, right? The villagers have lived next to your woods for hundreds of years, probably. They never did anything to you. They're not all the same. Humans aren't mushrooms. We are not all connected. We are not one entity. I came here just to help you and do whatever I could to help all parties. And I mean, I guess I can't really help you in the state that you're in, but the people who did this to you did suffer, and they did die. And yeah, there'll be war, but it'll stop, and you'll outlive all of it.
I think it's a role. I think you are definitely following all Bureau directives. I don't know if your background completely applies, although I'm willing to be convinced of that.
I think just as a criminal, just like an understanding of how bad people can be, but also like an understanding of like people aren't usually bad unless they feel like they have to be.
Yeah.
And that's kind of the point he's trying to make.
Yeah. It seems like a stretch, but it was an excellent speech, so I'm willing to give you that dice. And then I don't know if you've got any gear, but your telepathy is in play here, so feel free to add a third die for that.
Five.
Okay. Man, Milwaukee is it must be on fire.
It's
sorry.
I'm sorry.
Incredible. What is happening? What is happening in downtown Milwaukee right now?
There's always something. I don't know what to tell you.
It's true. It just feels like more than any time we've ever recorded. It's kind of funny. So a success, but there's a complication. I know what it is. You might be right. I will outlive them all. I acquiesce. Thank you. And the vast swath of fungus and mushrooms light up bright purple and start moving, receding back into this body to be contained within this body. The complication, however, and I think we're going to get the theory roll as soon as I introduce the complication, because I think it kind of will lead into it, which is Clarissa, Nail, and Blake, you hear the sound of a mob coming out of the forest. As you can see like torches and lights coming out, you can also see that the purple fungus that was like pervasive in this area begins receding back underground. But you have a moment to figure out what you're going to do. Is you know that the people of Buckinghamshire are about to come, and they are on the warpath. They have followed the purple fungus this way, and they are ready to fight whatever is here. Your theory roll, though, let's get to that and see what sort of position you're in and what they come. What is the phenomenon? I think you answered that very comprehensively, and I think you used pretty much all of the clues there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, all 6 clues there. How to contain the phenomena. You've got the sentient plant thing, so that's another die there. And then how do you obfuscate it? You're leaning into the local folklore of the witch of the Hagley Wood. So I think that's 8 die, which I think you can use multiple clues to answer each question to get more dice. So yeah, you've got 8 dice in total. Who wants to roll that and let me know what the highest die roll is?
I think we decided this is Gus, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Whew. That is a 666.
Whoa.
5.
Satan shows up. He says, "Don't worry, guys. I got it."
Just sends everyone from the village to hell.
I
leaves.
got this one.
Clarissa dies.
That is a crit. The agent's theory was completely correct, which we've kind of already established. And also the phenomenon is either less dangerous than expected, or the agents have found something specific that greatly mitigates the threat. I think at this point, most of the threat is the villagers and what they're going to do in the midst of this and how to obfuscate this from them. What do you think that thing is? Something specific that
the corpse of the lady who was. So remember, like the file said that when she was alive, she just looked normal. So I'm assuming after absorbing all of the mushroom, it just looks like a woman.
Yeah.
His corpse. So I think Big Mama brings up the corpse with him, and like it, I didn't try to swing it to the mob as like, it's just, she was just like a normal woman out in the woods and some crazy dude killed her, and kind of try to like.
You can still keep up the ruse that you had planned.
Yeah.
I was gonna say when the mob starts coming, I'm gonna turn into Sergeant Lieutenant.
Yep. And I think you can. I think pretty much anything at this point that you want to do to set up this farce, you totally can, because you're in a safe position. So that is why I telegraphed it. You can see them coming. You change into this man, and maybe Clarissa and Nail have your arms behind your back.
Yeah. Do we have time for me to say something to Clarissa really quick before the mob
Absolutely.
arrives?
Yes, absolutely.
I think maybe we should combine our plans, and if the mob demands blood, I teleport away while you make an image of Sergeant Lieutenant being killed.
Okay. Listen, baby, I love a good bloodshed, and this is going to be easy peasy for me. Oh, also, Clarissa's going to change out of the PPE into just like the regular blending in clothes so we don't look like aliens.
Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm. That's fair.
Yeah.
That's fair.
I think it's safe to assume we're all taking the PPE off.
PPE off.
Yep. And I'm normally I would be like, I don't know if you got time for that, but you're at a play it safe position, so I think you definitely have the time to do that. And so the mob breaks through the edge of the forest, and they're like, "This is where the fungus led. There must be something in here. Let's hunt Hey, who are you?" Oh, I forgot their English. Who are you? What are you doing here?
Oh, you villagers, help! They've arrested me. I don't know why. You know me, Sergeant Lieutenant.
It's Sergeant Lieutenant Chambers.
First of all, so everyone knows, Sergeant Lieutenant Chambers. Y'all see this woman, this dead body over here? Mr. Sergeant Lieutenant Chambers is the reason she died and those other people died.
No, it's not what it looks like. I did it to protect you all.
At that moment, Nail just comes over.
From what? Your
backhands
sick,
him.
perverted desires?
From the witch. I'm saving everyone from the witch.
The man's gone insane. He believes in your old folklore about there being a witch in the woods and has done everything he can to recreate the experience and torture this poor woman to death.
There is a witch in the woods. That's why I needed to kill these people. I killed the child to save the town.
Whoa. We didn't even get to the part about the child yet, and you just admitted to killing the child?
Yeah, wow.
Villagers, what do you think about that? Clap if you think he should suffer.
Applause-o-meter goes up. No. I'm gonna need a roll. I'm gonna need a roll, not an applause-o-meter, to determine if this is successful.
Yeah, we're setting a clock.
Williams.
how much they're shouting for his death.
Yeah, killer. No, who wants to lead this role? You've all kind of offered and done something to give this ruse up, but I need someone to kind of be the point person.
I think that's Clarissa.
Clarissa.
Yeah,
okay.
sure.
Clarissa's
Okay, all right.
We need Clarissa's
Are you
showmanship
following
to sell this line.
all the bureau directives? I think you absolutely are.
Yeah.
I think your background actually, weirdly enough, helps in this situation for sure. As a
You're a
team,
bullshitter. Professional bullshitter.
don't need a whole lot of convincing for that. I might even give you the gear as well too. You've got the dead body of the fungus spirit. And yeah, so there's that. And then, are you using any paranormal powers?
I mean, we have the shape-shifting. Does that count?
Yeah, does my
as using
shape-shifting
paranormal
count?
powers?
And you're also planning on using your teleporting and the photo kinesis if needed.
Yeah, if needed. That'll be another action roll if we need it. I will say yes. I will say that Blake's shape-shifting is paranormal power in this case and helps.
A 6, a 5, a 5, and a 4.
Okay, so
So-
6. Yeah.
I was real worried to not see that 6 immediately.
The one in the lead goes, I always knew there was something wrong with Lieutenant Chambers. Who names their child Lieutenant? What a weird name for a child.
Some sicko. Bad blood.
And who are you? How did you catch him?
Oh, I'm just fast.
All right. Well. All right. We'll take him from here.
No, we'll take him. And I pull out an ID, my military ID. I do not show it to them. Like, we're a distance away. But I pull it out. I'm like, we're
with the military police. He's like,
we have
he's
to
our
do
problem.
this. He's our problem.
I'm glad you said from a distance, because in my head I'm like, he leans up and he goes, "Wait a second, this says Sergeant Lieutenant Chambers on it."
Yeah, I know it does. I'm not getting any closer.
Hold up here.
It's how we had access to this building. It's how we found the records. It's how we found him.
I'm gonna need one last action roll to seal the deal on this. So essentially, what this was convincing the villagers. Ended up being like a four segment clock. 2 were already filled by Clarissa. Let's see if we can fill the last 2. Are you following Bureau directives? I think absolutely you are. Do you have a background that is particularly helpful in this?
I would argue if his background helped him make the ID, it should help him use the ID too.
Yes.
That's why he's not letting people get close.
And I would argue that as a felon who's done a lot of crimes and has been able to do them successfully and at least well enough to not get caught initially, there should be some lying in the background.
Social engineering, like we said, right?
Right.
I will give it to you. I will give you the die for your background.
Thank you.
You have the gear as well. No
powers.
I will not let the powers come into play, despite there being a shapeshifter. You've already used that, and you're not using anything specifically to convince him that you are military police, other than the gear.
Could he use his telepathy on the badge, like psychic paper, a la Doctor Who?
Could we plant the thought in their heads?
It's another action roll for me to speak to multiple minds. Specifically. Yeah. So
I think let's keep it just the 3. Go ahead and roll. Tell me what you get.
4, 5, 6. 6.
Nice.
Okay. Ooh. There we go. They don't get any closer. They look around at this training ground. They're like, "Yeah, all right, that makes sense. You're a military training ground. All right, well, if he's such big crimes against the English government, all right, we'll let you have him. And I guess we'll mourn our dead."
Yeah,
I'm
sorry.
so sorry for your losses.
It's all right. I was putting on a tough guy act, but
It's good to let it out.
Okay.
Hey.
Yeah, it is good to let it out.
You do what you need to do, buddy.
Go kick a rock for Bobby Payne. I'm sure he'd love that.
When we're back, we can ship you back the body when we're done with him, and you could just beat him up as long as he'd like.
That sounds really nice.
Okay. I'll make sure we get that set up with the government.
All right. Thank you. All right, folks. Mob's over. Everyone back home.
It's like, oh,
goodbye, Mom.
the torches go out.
The pitchforks and the torches go out.
They have telescopic pitchforks that they collapse and put away.
You're angry, muttering about wanting to kill someone today.
Now this is fun. You've solved this phenomenon. There's a couple things I want to ask though. First off, your senior bureau employee that gave you the mission brief cannot give you the mission debrief because they are dead.
Yeah.
What do you mean? He's right here. Mark
to some extent, the paperwork, if you incurred any, doesn't matter at all. Nor to really any of the debrief questions.
Hey, we did a good job.
Right.
That's all.
We killed it.
We really succeeded on another level here.
Yeah, you really kind of broke the game with this one. You're like, oh, if we just kill the person who briefs us, we don't have to do any paperwork ever.
But also,
Drake is
Now-
deeply disappointed about that.
I don't want to be stuck 20 years in the past. 80 years
I
in the
was
past.
gonna ask,
20 years.
do you have? I
doing
don't know. I think maybe we just go into downtime, and that's somebody's. Maybe that's a long-term project to try and find a way back to the present.
Yeah,
So-
so it's. I think it would be a combination of Drake pointing out other temporal anomalies like throughout history, and
Hoping
Big
you get
Mama
the right
just,
one.
Well, just like finding some more temporal energy with the experience that we've had, and
Yeah.
sort of latching onto it. riding the wave.
Look, we're kind of at the end. It's the end of this little 4-episode campaign. If we were to continue, I would say that's a hefty long-term project. I might even say that's like a couple clocks tied together, like a 6-segment clock of like finding the right temporal anomaly, and then another 6-segment clock of like utilizing that temporal anomaly to get back to the present. I don't know if we're gonna have time to fill 2 6-segment clocks though. So I don't know. I think potentially you guys are stuck in the past for a little bit.
I kind of like that. Gives me time to become a man in a man's body.
Yeah, I think that's exciting for Drake. He now he has his sights set on being the guy who filled out the paperwork that took down Hitler.
Oh yeah, there you go. Because there was obviously a bureau like mission involved in that for sure. That's all Drake's ever wanted was filling out the paperwork that took down Hitler. I also think too we're doing like kind of quasi epilogue scenes. I think what do you think about Clarissa spending a lot of her time like setting up things so that way when the present comes around, TLC started off at a much better place than it did when it first was envisioned. She just spends the rest of her life like making sure TLC, when it is created, is going to be such a success that it can't ever possibly go under.
Well, here's the thing. If she's a medium, if she's talking to the dead, she can set up the dead. She can prep them, learn the stories now. This is such a long con that Grifters in the future will never understand how she did it. She'd be like, "Oh, your dad. Your father loved corn pudding. He loved corn pudding." And the kid's like, "What is corn pudding?" And she's like, "Well, I have his recipe right here that I give him myself in the year 1947.
Well, you don't tell them that because
Why would you tell them?
Why wouldn't she? She's a woman of her word. You act like she's the crazy one for being honest with them. Wow.
That is so funny. It's like the Farmer's Almanac in Back to the Future 3, but way dumber.
Right, because she wrote it.
way dumber.
She's illiterate, frankly. So this is the
Wonderful.
long con for all long cons. However, I will admit that she does have a Trisha Paytas-esque breakdown for the first year or two, stuck in the past, with no way to watch reality TV.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
That would be hard. For sure, that would be hard. You could live it, though. You could live Downton Abbey.
You could live Downton Abbey, but know what I'm missing right now? Duck hunting.
Mm.
I'm missing those Alaska coal mines, those shows about the kids and the minecrafting. It's something I'll never get back.
Well, I think it is that you all are stuck in the past for a little bit. TLC will be set up as a success, and its media empire will flourish and never falter.
Jonathan, as it has in our timeline.
As it has in our timeline. Jonathan Hammer, aka Nail, becomes a man in a boy's body that grows into a man again, and gets to live his life twice. And eventually, Big Mama and Drake find a way to get the four of you back to the present. Where you find that not anything has really changed except for the overabundance of TLC in everyone's streaming services and cable channels.
90 Day Fiance Werewolf
But now
Edition.
every show has a medium in it for some reason.
All modeled after Clarissa.
And also important note here, it's such a successful channel, we never have to rely on any sort of racism or classism or any kind of isms that inspire a white audience to watch a TV
ableism?
show. It's just good TV.
It would be a TLC without the ableism, but
we can't escape that one. I'm so sorry, guys.
my 600-pound medium life. Little people, big medium world.
Oh my god.
Little Big Medium, I think, is a great title for that.
Little Big Medium. Yes.
Great. TLC, if you're interested, we're happy
Never
to help write
contact
that
us.
show. Never contact us.
I've got some
Here comes
pitches.
Medium
Listen,
Honey
I'm a
Boo Boo.
writer. There's a strike happening, but I'm not a good person.
Oh, wonderful. Well, that is a wrap on External Containment Bureau. You've solved the secret in that there will be no paperwork if you just murder all of the people that give you the missions to begin with, and so you come back and you just go right back into your jobs with more missions. And that is External Containment Bureau. I hope you had fun playing. I had fun GMing. This was about as ridiculous as I was expecting it to be, despite me saying let's lean into the science fiction part of it. And we threw that out the window immediately, and I'm happy we did. It was very funny. Thank you
It's a
all.
lot of fun.
Thank
From
you.
Control
for
to
playing.
Men in Black almost instantly.
Almost instantly. Almost as though I didn't tell you the tone and genre that we were going for to begin with. And it's fun. We had some
With
good
the
laughs.
character.
Though.
Sorry.
We had some good laughs for sure. Thank you all for listening, and we will see you. Well, when this comes out, it'll be in the following week that Scum and Villainy and Avatar Legends will come back. So thank you for listening, and we look forward to continuing to tell stories for a very long time. Thank you.
Goodbye.
See ya.
See you soon.
Bye. Oi, oi, oi. Governor. Tuesday, isn't it? Bear.